Why do it seem like, why do it seem like can't nobody handle the truth out here? With that real talk with Toy. You came big, you lying. You came big, you ain't telling the truth. You came big, you lying. You came big, you ain't telling the truth. I like that topic. I like that topic. What up, what up? Thanks for tuning in to Real Talk with Toy for another real topic. Let's get it.
Hello, thanks for tuning in to Topics Real Talk with Toy, where we have real people, real life situations, and real conversations. And again, today I have a special guest, my cousin Jocelyn, and we getting ready to get down on a good topic, you guys. It's very important. It could be sad, it could be happy, however we all partake it. It is what it is. It's life. And that is talking about being traumatized as a child. Can we really get over serious situations and move on with life as we get older? That's the question. So I wanted to talk about and get other people's opinion and views because everybody looks at things totally different. No one is the same. So when I always like to ask in the beginning how people feel about certain words and what they partake in viewing, how they view certain words. So when I ask about the word traumatizing, how do you look at that? How do you view the word traumatizing, Jocelyn?
Traumatizing. I mean, I feel like all of us have been through some type of trauma in life. Um, but most trauma uh starts at a young age. And it's all about, depending on what everybody's had different experiences. Whether it's a trauma from a parent leaving, all of a sudden, trauma from abusive parents, uh, different type of trauma. Um, so trauma to me is experiencing something that is, um, I guess, I guess the word I'm looking for is just traumatic. It's very traumatic, and sometimes it's hard for people to get over that.
Right.
Um, but my my suggestion to that is to understand if it's a trauma from a parent, like something that happened to you as a child, or the way you was treated as a child all through your childhood life. That could be trauma to someone where to the point where they're talking about it in their adult life, and it affects everything that they do.
Right.
Or when things get crazy, they always reflect back to the trauma. So, but my advice to something like that is understanding your trauma, understanding what happened and why it happened. If it's a situation where it is something with your parents, like saying if you felt like you was treated wrong by your parent, or it was an abusive parent, try to understand or get the story of where they come from, what happened to them as a child.
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes people grow up and they do what they know,
Okay.
not that they are intentionally trying to hurt you. It's what they've been taught,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and no one taught them how to get over it. So then you came into this world and they did the same thing to you and didn't teach you how to get over it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's why they always reference to it's called breaking chains,
Mm-hmm.
when you realize what it is that happened, and you deal with it, and you change your frame of thought
Mm-hmm.
on how you handle it.
Right.
But there's some people that they still live in their trauma.
Mm.
Some people live in their trauma because they don't have anything else to reflect back to, because that's what they use for excuses. Sometimes people like to keep their trauma for excuses.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes people um were so traumatized to, they never had anybody to talk to about it, or they don't mentally know how to deal with it.
Right.
So you have different levels. You have people that abuse trauma, then you have people that really, can't, get through the trauma. They're not abusing it. It's just they just can't get over it. Nobody ever helped them.
Right. Right.
But you got people that have a lot of common sense, and and they can, make choices, or find understanding and get past it, and do the opposite of what they've been through.
Right. 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 And when I hear the word traumatized,
Mhm.
I look at it as though it's almost one of them things to where that could go, of course, mentally, physically, emotionally, and all different type of ways. Everyone, and I always say, everyone has a story, and
Mhm.
everyone's story is very important to them. And to me, there are so many people out here that pacifies their trauma, childhood trauma that they've been through. They like to pacify it by alcohol, doing drugs, all sorts of type of things. They want to pacify it because mentally they don't want to think about that situation, not realizing when you have to face reality again, nothing has changed. Do you get what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
they don't want to, and then a lot of people are raised to believe that counseling is not good for us as African American people as far as telling your business and things like that. Well,
Mm.
it's really sad because me myself personally, I would rather talk with someone that is a total stranger than to talk with family or close associates about a lot of things, because when you do that, for some reason, everybody knows about it. And when you confide in somebody about a situation, no matter what it is, it's really sad that people have to keep things to themselves because they were always told don't go out here telling people your business. And then at the same time, they know damn well that if they go talking to family or close associates, everybody gonna know everything about you. So those are that's really really sad. So on top of, instead of them doing either one, which is getting counseling or speaking with family or close associates about the situation, they would rather drink, get high, do things like that, things that will help take take all of that off of their mind for a while. And I, who am I as man, meaning people out here, who are we to tell someone how to take on their situation from being traumatized when they were little? There's no way. We can't do that. It's not cool. I wouldn't want nobody telling me how to pacify my situation, but it needs to be done because to me things get worse, and like you said, it trickles down, and it's not okay. It's not okay.
Yeah. I think a lot of people haven't dealt with their trauma. You know what I'm saying? They haven't. And I know counseling is good. I do believe in counseling, but I also believe that if you was to really get into your Bible when you dealing with trauma, if you really was to get into your Bible, you will have all the free therapy you need.
Yes,
It won't cost you a dime.
absolutely.
All the answers to trauma are in the Bible.
That's right.
All the understanding is in the Bible.
Yes, yes,
Um, and that's where God wants you to seek your refuge with Him anyway.
yeah.
Now I'm not a guru. I don't know everything about the Bible. I'm still learning.
Right, right.
But I do know that any trauma that I've been through,
Mhm.
the only thing that has helped me is understanding and word from God in the Bible.
That's right.
So and it every most of the things that have happened to people have happened in the Bible.
Mhm. Mhm.
Certain types of trauma, you
Mhm.
know, uh there's trauma all through the Bible, things that have happened to different people, to Jesus, uh, all these things have happened, um and if we can seek understanding and not repeat,
Mhm.
break some chains. That's what I mean by breaking chains.
Yes.
Then we can stop the cycle
Right.
of trauma.
Mhm.
Or when trauma comes,
Mhm.
it doesn't seem, it's not called trauma anymore.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, but so the part that really disappoints me about trauma is the people that love the trauma so much till they use it.
Mhm.
They don't want to they don't want it to stop hurting. And I know that sounds crazy,
Mhm.
but there is some people that, because you're not working on it, you're harvesting it, you're holding it,
Mhm.
because that's where you run to hide. That's where you run to make excuses for
Yeah.
what you've done.
Yeah.
You run to your trauma,
Yes. Yeah.
and that type of trauma there. um I'm a bit hard on that one.
Mhm.
um I have dealt with people in my life before that has done that, you know And I might be a little harsh. And the reason why I'm harsh is because you don't want to deal with that trauma. You're hiding behind that trauma. You're using that trauma as an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a lot of sympathy for that,
Mm-hmm.
because obviously you're not seeking understanding. You're not seeking refuge from it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be released
Mm-hmm.
from it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to hold on to it for uh for reasons, excuses.
Mm-hmm.
A plain excuse. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse. Instead of using your trauma for strength,
Mm-hmm.
you're using your trauma to play people. You know what I'm saying? Using it for the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't respect that.
Right. And and I get that. I agree with some of that. Um I where I semi disagree is where it is, I believe that it is a lot of people out here that have been so traumatized in their younger years
Mm-hmm.
through whatever situation, to the point to where they never did get closure. And that closure that they never received, regardless on what the situation was, the closure that they never did receive is what they're holding on to mentally. And that's what's uh making things worse for them, for people that have been traumatized, because they're holding on to the fact that they never got closure. So therefore, they go day by day, and day by day turns into week by week, month by month, year by year. And they're sitting here and they're thinking and they're wondering and they're pondering because they don't understand why.
That's because you're giving other people the power to decide
Right.
how you're going to feel. And what you can't give people power like that. You're going to have to close it. They don't You're waiting. I'm not wait Let me tell you something. This is serious.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I was raped one time, and I'm just going to say that because I can say it now and feel nothing about it.
Right.
I'm not waiting for my rapist to tell me he's sorry for
Right.
me to get closure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get an understanding, and I'm going to close it myself. I cannot wait for the other person to tell me they're sorry
Right.
for closure. You can't that And that's what's wrong with people. They're waiting for an apology, or they're
Yeah.
waiting for someone to say, I just did you so wrong. I'm so sorry. You're not gonna get that. You're gonna have to ask God. You're gonna have to make your own closure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You have to make your own closure, and you're gonna have to let it go.
Right.
That's the thing. You're gonna have to let it go.
To
Make
grow.
your own closures. Don't wait for because there's a lot of people out here that's waiting for an apology.
Right.
Other people.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that's just waiting for somebody to and it's certain things that I can admit myself that I know people need to apologize to me for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I deserve an apology.
Mm-hmm.
But you think I'm sitting here holding my breath
Right.
and sitting here with traumatized because they ain't apologized to me?
Right.
You got to look at it that one day they got to face God for whatever they did to you and anybody else.
That's right.
You are not God.
That's right.
So don't think that people got to come forth to you like they supposed to come forth to God and confess all of their sins and what they've done. You're
Right.
not God.
That's
So
right.
you're gonna have to find a closure
Hmm.
within yourself
Hmm.
and keep it moving and trust that God will handle them. You see, that's the key, is to close it and trust God.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's how you can close it, is you have to trust God that God will deal with that person
Hmm.
that did that harm to you.
Hmm.
God will take care of that. You are not God. You cannot determine how that person is going to be punished for what they did to you.
Right.
Whether it's a parent, cousin, friend, whatever it was that traumatized you.
That's right.
You
Right.
have, if you can trust in God that He's going to do what He's supposed to do on His end, then that's part of your closure.
Right.
That's what will help you with your closure. But there's some people out here that just cannot let stuff go and let God,
Right. Right.
and
And
that's the problem.
I wonder if that plays a lot of I wonder if that plays a huge part in um why people act out the way they do as adults. You know what I mean? That um to where they look at things in the way of right is wrong and what's wrong is right. Do you get what I'm saying? They're so used to being brainwashed and manipulated into uh, what's right is wrong and what's really wrong is the right way. You get what I'm saying? Because of the the traumatizing that they have been through in life, they kind of possibly have just gotten used to being treated, or whatever situation they were in, they got used to that way of living, in
Mhm.
which that way of living or that way of whatever situation was not the right way. But to them, it was. And it's wrong. You're right. And you are I totally agree with you when you say you have to move on in life by breaking that chain, saying, I'm not going to let what happened to me years ago affect the way I am now. I'm breaking the chain because it's not going to happen with my kids or my grandkids, or you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
on and so forth. And again, it could be whatever traumatized the person. And so I was just wondering if, that's why people think so damn backwards nowadays. It just don't make sense to me why people think so backwards due to I think a lot of it is due to
It's comfort. It's comfort for them. They're comfortable.
Mhm.
Like, for instance, what you're saying, this is a person that is comfortable in how things used to be.
Mhm.
But I mean, anybody could. I mean, at a certain point, you gotta stop blaming other people for your actions,
Mhm. Mhm.
because you, as when you become an adult, you're supposed to learn right from wrong. Even if you didn't, because even growing up, it's just everything wasn't wrong. You
That's
know what I'm saying? Everything. It's certain things about people childhood that was wrong, but everything wasn't wrong.
right. Right.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that person will have some type of understanding of what's right.
Right.
So, from that, when you grow up and you're grown, you seek your own understanding, in life.
Right. Right.
So then that's why it's always talked about, and I know I'm always referring to the Bible because that's what it's all about.
Period. Yes.
Yeah, you seek your own understanding, and once you seek that understanding, and you learn, and you know how to, go about doing things the right way if you teach yourself to seek understanding and the right way to go. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So it's always gonna lean back on choice. You have to make a choice in life. Are
Mhm.
you going to make a choice to do right or wrong? Are you going to make a choice to practice good habits or bad habits? It's
Right.
all a choice.
Mhm. Mhm.
So either if you choose the wrong choice, that you want to manifest in the bad things that's happened to you in your life, because I don't know, you like attention, you get more attention when you go into your trauma. Some people go into their trauma because they get attention in their trauma. you
Mhm.
know
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
so what's crazy,
What's that?
some people trauma don't even bother them as bad as they act like it do.
Right.
Now that's some I just said something just then.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Some people act like the trauma that they done been through, it don't hurt, it don't bother them as bad. They know better. You know what I'm saying? They've gotten past it, but it gets them attention.
Yeah.
So they go to it. So they say, you know what, I'm finna go to my trauma, even though it don't even bother them that bad. They over it.
Yeah.
Mostly. It affect them. You know what I'm saying? It's not saying it didn't affect them and it didn't bother them, but it don't bother them like it used to. But they'll still go back to it because of the attention it gets.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know?
Yeah. And two, it's also, I think that it also helps it's also an excuse that they use
Oh yeah.
why they treat people the way they do, why they act the way they do towards others, and things like that. That is the most cowardly thing.
Yeah, it's
Really
a choice.
feel that.
Yeah, it's
Period.
a choice.
Yeah,
They made a choice to do that, not because they had to, it's because they chose to do it.
exactly. Exactly. And I'm sure that all the elderlies that has passed away, just like for instance, my mom and my dad passed away, you know what I mean? And so it's one of those things to where, yeah, of course, that's always gonna get to me. It's always gonna bother me, but at the same time, I know mentally that they would not want me living daily life being held back on things that I know I need to accomplish because they're no longer here physically. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
so you just can't, you just cannot. You have to find ways to move on. You'll never get over a situation. Never. You'll never get over it. You'll never forget. But you can always get through it. And that's what I say. You can always find ways to get through a
Mhm.
situation, especially serious situations like that. You can always, and one of the number one things is pick the Bible up, read. That's your
Mhm.
comfort right there.
Yeah.
Period. And a lot of people, honestly, they don't do that. You know what I mean? They just don't do that. But if they really take the time out and trust and believe and receive that Christ is here and he's very much alive,
Mhm.
will be better mentally. You get what I'm saying? But like I said, people sit and they look at it like, what's right is wrong and what's wrong is right. And
Yeah.
but
You
it
know, I
but
kind of look back.
mhm.
I kind of look back at um some trauma that I had. And it's not too long ago, And I just, I believe because the way I was raised and um, my knowledge of how I've dealt with any other type of trauma I've had
Mm-hmm.
is how I got through it.
Oh.
Um, and I learned something. I learned that when the devil sends you down the alley
Mm-hmm.
and there's in his devil angels are following you, and once you get to the end of that alley
Mm-hmm.
and you turn and you see these demons coming at you,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden they look in fear and they run, and
Mm-hmm.
you like, well, why did they run? Because God sent some giants, baby.
Mm-hmm.
He sent some giants, and they seen them giants
Mm-hmm.
and ran up out of that alley. That is the reference. If I had to describe to you
Mm-hmm.
that I had trauma, but I got through it, that's how I would describe it to you. That I
Wow.
was sent down a dark alley
Wow.
with my enemy that was wanting to kill me. And once I got to the end of that dark alley and could not walk anymore and turned around and seen them still coming for me, all of a sudden their face expression changed into fear and they ran away.
Wow.
And that's because God sent his giants
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to rescue me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's how I would describe
Mm-hmm.
my trauma and how I got through it. Because that's exactly what happened.
Wow. That's deep.
And that's because I know God. You know, I have a relationship with God. If I didn't know God, I wouldn't know that something like that could happen.
Right. Right. Right.
You know, but I'm telling you, that is exactly what happened. And
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly how I felt. And that's exactly what the outcome was.
Wow.
They
And
ran like they ran in so much fear.
yeah, right. And you know what? And that's where a lot of people um should start thinking about um their own relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
Our own relationship. Just have your own relationship because again, and I've said it in so many videos, we are the church,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and Jesus loves us all and loves us all the same. In fact, he loves us more than we even love ourselves.
Yeah.
And so, yes, can't nobody, no human being out here tell me what he cannot do.
Exactly. So
Just gotta try it. Just have to try it. Pick that Bible up and get to it. Get on your knees and get to praying. And there's no specific way to pray. I want to express that to everybody that's watching this. There is no specific way to pray. You
yeah.
pray like you're talking to anybody because he hears you. He hears you. And whatever it is that you're going through and that you did go through, you may not receive clarity at the moment, but you will eventually. And when you do, it's always right on time.
Yeah.
Period. always right on time. Everybody has to understand that yes, we all have had traumatizing moments in our lives, and it it could stem anywhere from mental, physical, emotional abuse. It can stem from anything funny, anything sad. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
We all
And
have suffered.
yes, and let me tell you something. We're going through trauma right now.
Oh yes.
We're going through trauma right now. We are going to be traumatized from
Yes.
every
Yes.
last one of us. I don't care how strong you are. There's some type of trauma. I'm okay. For instance, and I think I was mentioning this to you the other day. Sometimes I'll go into a store, have on my mask, and
Mhm.
all of a sudden I'll start coughing and choking.
Mm.
That it's an anxiety.
Mhm.
Um, just because of the mask, and then I start thinking about all the germs, and that's trauma.
Yeah.
So that so that's like you know that's trauma to me mentally, because my psyche is messing with me,
Yeah.
telling me, oh, all these germs. Oh, what if somebody around here with the Rona, you know, and then I start to feel my throat start to get dry. I
Yeah.
can't breathe.
Yeah.
And then I just start coughing. I, and I do it in this periodically. Sometimes I go in the store and I'm fine, but
Yeah.
especially if I'm in there for I think over about 15 minutes,
Mhm.
I start to have a little bit anxiety.
Yeah. Absolutely. Going through change.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so there's people that has worse anxiety than that, to the point when this whole pandemic is over with, they still gonna be messed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all gonna be a little messed up after this,
Absolutely.
and this is, but we still have to take refuge
That's
to the
right.
word.
That's right.
This is how I'm able to get through this mentally.
Mhm.
Is I know that God is not going to let nothing happen to me that I can't handle.
That's right.
And God has showed me that there could be people around you that have it,
Yes.
and it not touch you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and you have to know, you have to have a relationship with God in order to know these things. That's why it's important to get a relationship with him, because if you're out in this world and you don't have the word in your embedded into your skin or in your mind, you gonna suffer
That's right.
big time. You're gonna suffer because the devil don't give you any refuge. He
Right.
don't have no words for you.
Right.
He
Right.
don't have no understanding for you. There's not a there might be about something out there with a devil word, but that ain't that's on a whole nother level there.
Yeah. I'm sure. And
But
that devil word is
there's
probably
no word
your
of
head.
comfort. There's no word of comfort anywhere for you
That's right.
following the devil.
That's right. None but pure hell.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So if you don't put the word of God into your life,
That's right.
you're gonna go through pure hell.
Yeah. Period. And
You
that's,
know.
yeah. Yeah. That's just all it
So
is to it. Absolutely.
so there's current trauma going on, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be some people that probably gonna need a social security check after this. They're gonna be clapped nuts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And some of us gonna halfway be there. We gonna quietly be nuts. We gonna quietly be nuts. So we just gonna,
Right.
we gonna be a little crazy, but not crazy enough for the check. You
Right.
know, I don't know. I can't say, because I mean, even me, I deal with some things, with this anxiety, and stuff like that. But it's only, just trying to be cautious, and just it's sometimes it's just a little bit too much.
Exactly.
um
Yeah.
but I get through it, and I always have this little thought in my head. See there, you got through that. You all right. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? You got to
Right.
be your own cheerleader. You got to be you got to give therapy to yourself, but you got to know how to give therapy to yourself. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? You
Yes.
got to know how to give therapy to yourself, know how to talk yourself through some things.
And nowadays is the time. People, if you have not already thought about how to recondition yourself, it now is the time to start trying to focus on how we can recondition ourselves, because even counselors need counselors.
Mhm.
And you really honestly have to learn how to recondition yourself. That's just what we have to do in order to stay sane and be okay. And that's just all it is to it. There's no other way of looking at that. One thing we have to know is, number one, there's nothing wrong with counseling. Absolutely nothing. First and foremost, always pray. Have that relationship with Jesus. You just always have to have that relationship. Believe it, receive it, and know in your heart that you're going to be okay. There's no specific way to pray. We know that as well. And also be mindful of others, and just know that we are not being fair to others by letting them see the ugly side of us, that we also are quick to translate back to when we were younger and how we grew up and things that happened in our childhood. You know what I mean? Whether it was being bullied by other kids, like I said, it could be so many things that people were traumatized. Let me tell you before we close out here, and we just may have to make this a part two. Um, if a lot of you feel like we should make it a part two, definitely do let us know in the comments. If you feel we do need to do a part two to this, and we can get way more deeper. But one thing I do want to do is I want to close out to a funny, or what we call a funny traumatizing that I have been through. And to this day, I'm still traumatized by it. And what that is, is um when I was younger, I would say probably maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6, maybe 7, when I was old enough to make my own peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. You know what I mean? Back in the day, it was and I'm going to do this real quick here. Back in the day, it was a store, okay? And at that store, it was you can buy 3 loaves of bread for $1. Now this is back in the day. You can buy 3 loaves of bread for $1. Well, make a long story short, the loaf of bread, the three there was loaves of bread on top of the refrigerator. Okay, that's where we will put them. Some people had bread boxes, some people left them on the toaster, whatever. Well, we always kept ours up on the top of the refrigerator. Well, it was one day I went in there, and seeing it, it just takes me through a mental thing when I think about it right now. And I'm a whole grown woman. But one day I went in there and I went to go make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And all that bread that was sitting there for so long fell down on me. Just makes me squirm. Oh Lord have mercy. I just went through all kind of changes. I felt like breadcrumbs was all in my hair, all over my body, everything. I just couldn't take
Oh
it.
my God.
And that traumatized me so bad. I could sit here and tell y'all, I promise with everything I have to this day, I will not eat a piece of bread.
Are you serious?
I promise you. If God is my
Because
witness,
because a whole bunch of bread fell on you.
because a
Wasn't
whole
it in the pack?
it was it was, you know how people can take it, and because there I had brothers in the house too, so you know how people can take it, roll it, and then tie it in a knot.
Mm-hmm.
Some, I don't know who it was, rolled it, tied it in a knot real lightly. So when I took the bread off, it just fell all. Oh my God! I literally
Oh my God.
went through it,
Bread traumatized. Now that's funny.
and I literally had I all in my hair. Oh, I felt
I
such a.
know what to do if I get mad at you. I just throw some bread at you.
And I'm gone. I'm telling you, I'm gone. I'm telling you, somebody throw bread at me, cousin. You could chase me. I'll run so fast. I'm telling you, girl. Me and bread.
That's funny. That's
I
really
was
funny. That
screaming
is
at
hilarious.
fool over bread. I don't
That's
like
what you get. If you was raised down south, that wouldn't have bothered you. But
oh
being that you raised up north, that's some other stuff.
girl.
That's funny though. That is actually hilarious. That's not funny. That's hilarious.
Yes. And to this day, I will not eat bread. I don't want to have nothing to do with bread. And people ask, well, don't you got kids? Yeah, I got a child, and she grown now. But one thing about it is, I had to make sure when she wanted bread, I had to make sure that bread was stacked in line, neat, literally twisted right. The tie had to be a certain way. It had to look neat enough for me to feel like I could stick my hand in that loaf and pull that bread out. Other than that, I ain't want to have nothing to do with bread. And it had to be wheat bread, period. I cannot do bread at all. I don't eat bread. Somebody could take a loaf of bread and chase me all the way down. I will run until I can't run no more. And I mean that. I'm telling you, I'll probably get to fighting over some bread. I don't like it. So that's something I wanted to share. Like when I kept saying that traumatizing can be anything, anything. I just had to share that that one, and that's just the truth. It is
That's
what it
funny.
is.
That's funny, but I keep that in mind in case I want to talk to you one day.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's making me itch right now. I feel like I need to, get comfortable now and not. It's crazy. It will mess with certain things. Will really mess with people mentally. So I don't think I could be a cook. You know what I mean? You won't get no bread. You,
Mm-mm. People don't need no bread, no way.
I'm
Bread.
telling you. I'm trying to tell you. But girl, look. I want to close this out by just also saying again, if everybody, which I do believe that we may take this in a part two, if people wanted to go a little deeper than what we've talked about, which this situation can get very deep. Just definitely put it in the comments and let us know if you feel we should. And if you also have any topics that you would like for us to touch up on, definitely put it in the comments as well. And I want to ask you before we get off of here, Jocelyn, how can people find you if they want to get a hold of you?
They can look me up on my regular Facebook page, which is Jocelyn Be So Real at Gmail. They can look me up through my Gmail, or I also have a group on Facebook that's called Jocelyn Arc um Survival Mode. They can look up that group and request to be a part of that group.
Right. Okay. That's what's up. That's what's up. Because definitely, y'all, look, it's very important. I would get, if I were you guys, I would definitely look that up and get in that group because it's a lot of different things that we could all learn, especially nowadays with this pandemic going on how to survive without feeling like we need to depend on the stores all the time. Now we get it that we're not in a farm. We get all that. At the same time, there are still different ways that we can get some type of uh, nutrition without having to run to the store every time you turn around. So definitely, definitely do that. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in again to Topics Real Talk with Toy, where we always, always have real people, real conversations, and real situations. And
Yeah.
um, I will definitely have you on lots times more. You know that. A lot of times more. I mean, we just gonna be on here. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
All righty. Okay, y'all. Well, listen, just like I say in every single video, keep God first. Peace.